as you do know, the public sector is literally the engine that runs our national vehicle. And for those in the private sector, those in civil society, etc., we all require the public sector to function in a particular way so that all of us will have an opportunity to deliver on our various objectives. Whether you're applying for passports, you need electricity at home, many things that you do require a properly functioning public sector. We also do know that our public sector requires some improvement, and the exercise of improving our public sector is not new. It's something that we have tried a few times past, but it is important to improve and to consolidate it. And the Akufo-Addo administration has completed work on a public sector reform strategy, which it intends to outdoor. So this morning, I want to invite Mr. Thomas Kusi-Boafo, who is the Chief Executive, to give us an outline, first of all, a background, an outline of what we intend to do and what to look out for, so that you can help us prepare the nation, and particularly all other stakeholders who deal with the public sector. You can help us prepare them to receive this new strategy and to help us implement it. Please let's welcome Mr. Kusi-Boafo with a round of applause.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister of Information. Honorable Deputy Minister for Information, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen. As the Chief Executive Officer in charge of public sector reforms, I'm very delighted because an unprecedented feat has been chalked in the history of our beloved country with the development and review of a national public sector reform strategy, which is going to be launched by the President of the Republic, Dankwa, Akufo-Addo. As you might be aware, the absence of a comprehensive national public sector reform strategy has always been echoed by several state and non-state actors, as well as the country development partners, as one of the main reasons for the uncoordinated, inefficient, and ineffective reforms in the public sector, thus leading to the poor, unimpressive public service delivery in the country. The previous government, under the NDC, developed National Public Sector Reform Strategy documents, which was to be implemented from 2017 to 2027 for a 10-year period. This was approved by government in principle, that is the MPP government. It was, however, decided to review the documents when the MPP government assumed power on 7th January 2017, within the framework and in line with our government's private sector-led development agenda, and resubmit it for the adoption of our new government. In that regard, a committee chaired by the senior minister and made up of other ministers, representatives from the private sector, academia, etc., was constituted to review the document. Also, a technical committee was put in place to produce a revised version for the consideration of the review committee. Eventually, a draft National Public Sector Reform Strategy 2018 to 2023 was developed for a period of 5 years. The goal of the National Public Sector Reform Strategy 2018 to 2023 is to enhance service delivery to citizens and the private sector through this strategy, the government aims to establish open and impartial public sector at the central and local government levels, with citizens and the private sector at the core of the government concern. The draft National Public Sector Reform Strategy 2018 to 2023 has received both executive and cabinet approval. It's now set to be launched by the President of the Republic at the Accra International Conference Center on the 8th of August 2018 at 11 a.m. Invited participants are expected to be seated by 10:30 a.m. The lunch, which will not span more than 2 hours, will host participants comprising the President himself, all ministers, all deputy ministers, members of parliament, CEOs and their deputies, the diplomatic corps, ministries, departments and agencies, financial institutions, chiefs and queen mothers, religious groups, civil society, market women association, senior security officials, judiciary, trade unions, driver unions, development partners, students, private sector business, political parties, academia, which is the vice chancellors and their rectors, and persons with disabilities. In view of the importance government attached to the reform agenda, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will launch the strategy document. The senior minister will give the welcome address, while I will personally give an overview of the strategy documents being launched. Also, the minority leader, and the president of the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry will both give statements at the lunch. Immediately after the lunch, there will be post-lunch activities in 3 zones. Namely, the Southern Zone will comprise the Central, Western, and Volta region. The Central Zone will also comprise the Ashanti, the Eastern region, and then the Bro-Ahafo region. And the Northern Zone will comprise the Northern region, Upper East, and then the Upper West regions. Tentatively, it is our expectation that the first of these post-lunch activities will take place in Cape Coast for the Southern Zone, which will start on Wednesday, 15 August 2018. Days for the other zones will be announced later. We are therefore calling on all well-meaning Ghanaians and, of course, the media to assist in making the government reform agenda a success. For your information, reforms are to be devoid of partisanship. On behalf of the Senior Minister, staff of the Office of the Senior Minister, and the Public Sector Reform Secretariat, I wish to express my sincere thanks to the Deputy Minister of Information and staff of the Ministry of Information for organizing this press briefing. And to the media, I say thank you for coming. I will seize this opportunity to invite all of you to attend this historic launch of the National Public Sector Reform Strategy on Wednesday, 8th August 2018 at the Accra International Conference Center at 11 a.m. Thank you, and may the good Lord bless our homeland, Ghana. Concerning the key highlights of what I have just delivered, I believe that after the questions, we are going to give you the scripts. But as to the detail of the document itself, it will be made available to you. The actual document itself, the abridged version, and then the infographics. You are going to have them in detail. Now, concerning the service delivery at the end of the reforms, what do we expect? Now, we are all aware that the public institutions are there to as a special vehicle to develop the private sector. So we want to ensure greater efficiency and effectiveness in the service delivery. I am aware that there are certain services that are delivered by the public institutions that the media, you have complained a lot and you are aware. I don't have to sing a sermon to tell you the frustrations people go through in the collection of their pension, passport delivery, the way the turnaround times of doing businesses, numerous frustrations that you all go through, including the issue of bring brown envelope, go back and come and speak proper English. Otherwise, I will not do something for you. We want to get rid of this. A proper client service will be devised for which complaint centers will be set out. And when the service is not delivered properly, the client can call and immediately it will be addressed. We want to ensure a system. For instance, when we visited Rwanda, you don't have anything called ghost names. A highly digitized system. Immediately, a doctor enters your name that you are dead. Within that time, the system goes to disable the person at the controller. It moves straight to birth and death for your birth certificate to be prepared. Then your burial grounds will also be made ready, and your pension beneficiaries are also alerted that colleague ABC is dead, he's your relative, and you should make yourself available for pension to be processed on your behalf, all within 6 hours. So we want such a beauty to be in Ghana here, and I hope it is good when you begin to receive services like this. You go to the passport office, the same frustration, long queues for passports. It is not having certificate. Let me tell you, passport is not having certificate. We should be able to do passports, not coming to Accra to queue and sleep outside. You can stay elsewhere, do it online. Available facilities are there for you to be delivered to you on time. That is what we want as citizens. And we want the public sector, the public service institution, to view citizens and private sector as active players, not somebody they should milk on them. Who will be happy about frustrations? I want people to know that unless the private sector improves, citizens become happy, there is no good government. And that is what this particular government has taken it as a serious measure to ensure that with all your support and your cooperation, a vibrant public sector institution is established. So we will go around educating the people. The media, you are going to help us educating the people, change attitude. When you visit areas that are performing well, it is not by magic. It is by people saying that we have changed our attitude and we want to build Ghana. As we move, having an agenda of Ghana beyond aid. Ghana beyond aid with weaker public institutions, we will get nowhere. Rwanda started and they did very well. So that is what we expect our institutions to be, a strong ally in the developmental processes. Thank you. Well, the reforms is going to be a period of 5 years. That is, the strategy will work for a period of 5 years. We will kickstart in some areas which we will advance, especially the passport office and that of birth and death and other important areas, the immigration, we shall also be going there. We are going to kickstart almost immediately after the launch. So it is going to be a period of 5 good years, after which we will sit back, review, and we move forward as we all veer towards Ghana Beyond agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions, colleagues? An evaluation. Are there any other questions?
Etc. to allow the public to sometimes make calls and then lodge a complaints. Well, I mean, sometimes it's with our service delivery. How exactly?
Attitudinal change is a major problem. Everybody is aware what is negative and positive attitude. So what should we do? An example I saw in Rwanda is that when you are to deliver a service within a certain time frame and you don't do it, the system will red flag you and it will be sent to the office of the ombudsman or the office of the president. When that particular worker is going to be assessed, it is not his director filling some form that usually they score about 80 to 90%. It is about the database of a pile up of attitudinal records that you have. They will slot it and it will tell you that your attitude was bad. You scored below 60 and you are dismissed in Rwanda. If we have such a beautiful system in Ghana, I think it will act as a check. But we must all address it. Everywhere that you find yourself, the media, you engage the public a lot. Give them the education. Once the document is launched and it is made available, we want greater cooperation and partnership with you so that we sit down and we all talk to the people. We'll tell them good and bad. You can have programs. Even as a newspaper, you can even devote a place where all the time you talk about attitudinal change and developmental projects. In some countries, they have strong civic education that starts from the grassroots. Any single person, even when you finish JSS or SSS, before you enter university, there is 6 months civic education for you. And all the government workers also, every year, there is a timetable for you to attend national civic education. So it is a greater collaboration. The paper alone, the document alone cannot by itself solve problems because Ghanaians have seen such documents before. Now it is left to all of us to embrace this particular document, as media, and we use it as our baby. So from today onward, this attitudinal change, if it doesn't change, I tell you, it is not only endangering future generation, it is endangering also our progress and prosperity. Anybody coming here, seeing our attitude, will tell us that no, Ghana is not good. A policeman picked $3,000 in Rwanda and went on a radio station to make an announcement that I have found $3,000. And the owner went and came for a tourist. Definitely he will visit. He will have Rwanda in his memory. Assuming in Ghana, when you find 3,000 as a policeman and you return it, you will be cursed by your wife. Excuse me to say it. I don't wish that it happens to us. We also want to live a life worthy of emulation. Ghana, not that we can't do it. We are very intelligent. There are public and civil servants who came, work in a transparent, truthful manner, and they left their good names and imprints there. We should read about them. We should learn from them. At the end of the day, all the exercises we are doing is to empower you, the youth, and what? The future generation. So that you live in a country that is peaceful, we are happy, we respect law, the environment is clean. We know that this, in Rwanda, when a person is attending a school, students, they pick rubbish from the streets. In Ghana, the same rubbish will be made in the houses, and the same student will be told, oh, when you are going to school, take the rubbish and go and throw it at any place that you want. This can happen in Ghana. And I tell you, this is the time you must report. You complain about when you call, nobody will listen to you. I tell you from this time onwards, the Office of the Senior Minister, the Public Sector Reform Secretariat, we are ready to listen to you, and you don't have problems. The monitoring and evaluation will say that.
A very strong collaboration with the Ministry of M&E. The ministry was involved even in the review of the reform strategy. And there is a very heavy dose of monitoring and evaluation within the document that is going to be launched next week. There is a framework, M&E framework, which involves a whole lot of activities. They are going to use color-coded systems to monitor and evaluate the implementation of the reforms across board in real time. So a lot is going to be done with respect to monitoring and evaluation. Thank you.
So how are you going to address the issue?
So if you have questions, please step forward so that.
Based on performance and your mouth, when the Bible service here, the market red, say the pair when you are being assessed, and yet for direct answer, for direct boss now, access. Okay, Ghana have more and politicians, opportunity in the public sector. We say, when you go for me tomorrow, one of the party boys, food soldiers, no one has a party members for sure. So at the end of the day, even say, sorry. It is a many surprise, yes, an assessment now. Sandy Pam, even though I don't know yet, but then I'm saying, on non political party here, power so and a better one meeting. Some machine, a machine, actually, anybody teaching. At the end of the day, the people that are interested in a machine, and it's politics, you're better than you to me a year no food, and to me up why I'm outside in it. And secondly, sir, I said, no, can I tell you now about the formal sector? The company that first year in formal sector, they don't said they are people are paying being free register details that they say goes in the money. Only the formal sector, informal sector, a company that first made you almost share, now I'm on my money.
Okay, thank you. This is the final set of questions that I'm taking. Colleagues, let me ask of you.
Yeah, on sustainability. For sustainability, there is a need for strong institutional arrangements, permanent institutions backed by law to implement reforms. Once institutions are firmly established and are backed by law, and there is that division of responsibilities and mandates are all clarified. That will contribute to sustainability. One issue also is that reforms are going to be mainstreamed into the regular plans, the normal plans and budgets of state institutions that are going to implement them. That's MDAs and MMDAs. They are not going to be, secondary activities. They are to be mainstream into activities and budgeted for. Once that is done, then they can be sustained. And there is also the need to ensure, institutions need to ensure that when leadership changes, prioritized reform activities are not truncated, or they are not reprioritized. That is why there has been the need for us to have a strategic plan, which is going to be launched. The strategic plan is a blueprint which should be there for any government to implement. So an incoming government cannot throw it away once it has been approved by a cabinet and it's been implemented. Once these are done, and adequate budgetary provisions, I repeat that, are made for reform implementation. I think we can sustain reforms in this country. Thank you very much.
It's a question about whether it's limited to the formal sector.
The theme of the lunch and even the theme of the document is delivering for citizens and private sector. The public sector exists to serve the business community and the citizens generally. All services that the public sector institutions perform are geared towards the private sector and the citizens. Who goes for passports? Who goes to the hospital for health services? It's not only public sector operators. It's not public servants alone. So if health services improve, educational services improve, it is the informal sector, the ordinary people who benefit. So the private sector, the public sector does not exist to serve itself, but to serve the general public. In the colonial times, the public sector used to serve mainly the colonial administrators, but that is not so now. The public sector serves the executive as well as the general public, including the private sector. Informal, could be informal or formal. So there are a lot of activities and programs outlined in the document to be lined that are geared towards collaborating and facilitating development of the private sector. The public sector should act as a catalyst for the development of the private sector, including the informal sector. We cannot provide specific details in the document once it has not been formally lined. So I will end here. Thank you very much.